Mark Twain, The Importance of Travel for Personal Growth. What is it, do you suppose, that can transform a simple creature of habit and comfort into a storied traveler of the world, with eyes wide open to the grand tapestry of humanity? I am Mark Twain, and I've been many a thing in my time: a humorist, a lecturer, a journalist, a riverboat pilot, and yes, even a world traveler. In this conversation that we are about to have, let me be your guide through the importance of travel for personal growth. Now, you might be sitting comfortably, perhaps in a familiar chair, in a room where every corner is steeped in the warm glow of the known. But I tell you, there are lessons out there that this safe haven of yours cannot teach. I learned many a thing on the banks of the Mississippi, but it was the lands beyond that chiseled the stories into my flesh. The first lesson I have for you is this: travel is the enemy of prejudice. It's a bold statement, but as I've said before, travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness. You see, the world is a book, and those who do not travel read only one page. When you step out of your door, when your feet wander and your eyes see new horizons, you begin to read the other pages. Have you ever considered why the caged bird sings of freedom? It is because it knows there's more to the sky than bars. Now, I want you to think, not of the bird, but of the song. What might your song be if you could fly beyond your bars? Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound lessons from the legend. I was once like you, perhaps. Born in a small town, Missouri, I was acquainted with the simplicity of life. But the river called to me, and then so did the sea, and before I knew it, I was circumnavigating the globe. The people I met, the cultures I encountered, they seeped into me like the ink of a pen into the fibrous tendrils of paper, indelible and transformative. Every person you meet on your travels is a mirror, reflecting back parts of you that you may not have known existed. When I met with the various folks on my travels, from kings and queens to the paupers on the street, I saw the reflections of my own ignorance, my own preconceptions, and I was given the chance to correct them. I urge you to think now, not of the places you might go, but of the people you might meet. What prejudices do you hold that could be dispelled by a simple conversation on a train in a foreign land? What bigotries could be unraveled with a shared meal in a stranger's home? You see, the second lesson is closely tied to the first. Travel is the art of narrative disruption. Your life is a story you tell yourself, and without new chapters it can become quite the repetitive tome. When I set sail for the first time, I was not merely crossing an ocean. I was crossing into a new chapter of my life. Consider the stories you tell about who you are and who you might become. Are they not worth the addition of a few adventurous chapters? The art of travel is the art of allowing your life story to be disrupted by the unexpected, by the thrilling, by the transformative. I remember when I first witnessed the colossal ruins of ancient Rome and the grandeur of Paris. The narrative I had of my own world expanded. It was not just a change in scenery, but a change in psyche. My dear friend, when was the last time your narrative was disrupted? When did a new chapter truly begin? Now, let's talk about humility, our third lesson. Travel has a way of making you feel very small, but in the best of ways. When you stand atop a mountain that has seen the passing of eons, or before a painting that has outlasted empires, you realize the vastness of time and creation and your own brief part in it. I stood before the Sphinx and the pyramids, and I realized that my troubles were as fleeting as the desert sands. How can you come to understand your place in the grand scheme if you do not venture out to see the schemes of the grand? Now I must ask you, when last did you feel truly humble? Not diminished, mind you, but humbled in the presence of something greater than yourself. The fourth and final lesson for now is that travel is the school of life. It is an education no university can provide. It teaches through experience, through joy and hardship alike. It is the great equalizer and the grand enlightener. When you trade the comfort of the known for the exhilaration of the unknown, you are embarking on life's greatest education. You learn not from books, but from the very essence of existence. You learn the richness of simplicity when a sunrise over a foreign land takes your breath away. You learn the complexity of language when a single word holds numerous meanings in another tongue. And you learn the value of history when you walk the cobblestone streets that have borne the weight of countless generations. Think now of the last time you learned something profound, not from words on a page, but from the whisper of the wind across a strange land, or the smile of a person whose language you do not speak. Can you recall such a moment? And so, we come to the end of the first part of our discussion. You have begun to see how travel challenges prejudice, disrupts your narrative, teaches humility, and offers an education like no other. But this is merely the prologue to the rich story that travel writes in the book of your life. The alchemy of experience, transforming the mundane into the extraordinary. Now, consider the idea of transformation. It's a powerful concept, isn't it? Just as the alchemists of old sought to turn base metals into noble ones, travel has the uncanny ability to transform the traveler. It's a process of internal alchemy, where the base substance of our habits, beliefs, and preconceptions are transmuted into something richer. One of the first steps in this alchemical process is the expansion of perspective. When you travel, you're not just moving through space, but through the perspectives of others. You see, every society, every culture has its own way of interpreting the world, and when you step into their circle, you are offered a new lens through which to view life. Take, for example, my travels to the Sandwich Islands, now known as the Hawaiian Islands. There, I observed a culture so intrinsically tied to the land and sea that their very language had a poetry for natural phenomena that my own English couldn't touch. It was there that I learned the true meaning of aloha, a word that encompasses love, peace, and compassion. How has your perspective changed in the presence of new landscapes and languages? Next, let us muse upon adaptability, the philosopher's stone of our journey. To travel is to become a chameleon of sorts, blending into new environments and learning to adapt to the unforeseen. It is a test of character, where you are given the chance to shape your own narrative in response to the challenges and surprises that travel throws your way. I recall a time aboard a steamer bound for Europe, amidst a storm that would make the stoutest of hearts quiver. It was there, against the howling of the wind and the tossing of the waves, that I found a calm center within myself. It was a calm born of the realization that some things are beyond our control, and we must adapt or be swept away. In what ways has travel tested your adaptability? Now let's turn our attention to the crucible of cultural appreciation. When you immerse yourself in a culture different from your own, you are given the chance to appreciate the beauty and complexity of human expression. It is easy to view your own culture as the center of the universe until you are faced with the wonders of another. In my journeys, I have sat at tables laden with exotic delicacies, listened to the music of foreign lands, and witnessed festivals that celebrate the human experience in ways I had never imagined. Each of these experiences was a lesson in appreciation, a broadening of my cultural vocabulary. What cultural wonders have you borne witness to that expanded your appreciation for the rich tapestry of humanity? The final alchemical element in our discussion is the cultivation of empathy. To travel is to encounter the full spectrum of human emotion, from the heights of joy to the depths of despair. It is in sharing in the lives of others, if only for a moment, that we cultivate a deeper empathy for the human condition. I have laughed with street vendors over shared jokes despite the language barrier, and have felt the sting of tears for struggles that were not my own. It is through these shared human experiences that the walls between us and them begin to crumble. When have you felt a deep connection to a stranger's joy or sorrow in your travels? As we conclude the second part of our exploration, I hope you are beginning to see the profound ways in which travel can transmute the common elements of our existence into the extraordinary. It expands perspective, hones adaptability, deepens cultural appreciation, and cultivates empathy. These are the components of the internal alchemy that transforms travelers from within, polishing the rough edges of their character and revealing the luster beneath. Beyond the horizon, embracing the unknown as the sculptor of souls. In this section, we'll venture into how the embrace of the unknown crafts our inner selves and brings about a transformation profound and lasting. The unknown is a vast sea, and we, in our comfort, often cling to the shores of the familiar. But it is only when we push off from the safety of these shores and set sail into uncharted waters that we truly begin to grow. Travel, in its essence, is a voluntary plunge into the unknown, a test of our ability to navigate the uncertain and emerge stronger for it. First, let us consider the virtue of courage. It's a quality often spoken of in grand terms, but the courage I speak of is a quieter, more personal kind. It is the courage to step onto a plane bound for a land where your mother tongue is foreign, where the customs are as unfamiliar as the landscape. I remember my own trepidations, boarding a steamship to Europe, feeling the flutter of my heart at the thought of the unknown awaiting me. Yet, it was in that vulnerability, that stepping away from security, that I found a well of courage within. Have you felt the flutter of courage stirring within you as you've stepped into the unknown? Next, let us discuss the shaping of resilience. The unknown is not always kind. It tests us, often harshly. But in this testing, we are tempered like steel in the forge. The trials of travel, from the minor inconveniences to the major mishaps, are the hammers that shape the metal of our metal. I've faced missed connections, lost luggage, and even bouts of illness in foreign lands. Each adversity, while unpleasant, taught me a lesson in resilience, in the ability to bounce back and move forward. What trials in your travels have shaped your resilience? Now we turn our gaze to the virtue of curiosity. The unknown beckons to us with a siren's call, not to dash us upon the rocks, but to draw out our innate curiosity. It is this curiosity that propels us forward, that drives us to explore, to ask, to learn. Each foreign street I've walked, each local I've conversed with, each exotic meal I've tasted, they all began with a spark of curiosity. This is the sculptor of souls, the force that chisels away at our ignorance and shapes us into citizens of the world. When has your curiosity led you to profound discoveries on your travels? Lastly, let us contemplate the gift of wonder. In a world where so much is known and so little left to the imagination, the unknown presents a precious opportunity to experience wonder. It is the feeling that washes over us when we stand before a natural wonder or gaze upon a masterpiece of art for the first time. I've stood at the edge of the Grand Canyon, beheld the majesty of the Sistine Chapel, and each time I've felt the weight of wonder, the sense that there is still magic in the world. This sense of wonder, is a salve for cynicism and a reminder of the beauty that exists just beyond the horizon. How has travel awakened wonder within you? As we conclude this section, reflect on how embracing the unknown serves as the sculptor of our souls. It is in this embrace that we find courage, forge resilience, ignite curiosity, and rekindle wonder. These are not just the byproducts of travel. They are the essence of the transformative power of journeying into the unknown. When you are ready to venture even further, to uncover more of the treasures that lie hidden in the journey of travel, we shall cast off once again. Until then, ponder the ways in which the embrace of the unknown has sculpted your soul and how it might continue to do so. For the horizon is ever expanding, and there are always more seas to sail, more lands to explore, more stories to be written in the Odyssey of your life. The Odyssey's end, weaving the threads of journeys into the fabric of being. As we venture into the culmination of our travel narrative, we reflect on the profound impact that our accumulated experiences have on the very essence of who we are. The Odyssey doesn't end when we return home. Rather, it continues to resonate through the echoes of the lessons learned and the memories cherished. Integration, the essence of return. Upon the return from distant lands, integration is the silent work that takes place within the traveler's heart and mind. It is the process of assimilating the experiences, the sights, the sounds, and the emotions into the core of one's being. I recall sitting in the quietude of my study, surrounded by artifacts of my travels, each a totem of a place and a time that had etched itself into my identity. It was in these moments of reflection that the true value of my experiences began to crystallize. How have you woven the threads of your journeys into your life's tapestry? Transformation. The alchemy continues. The alchemy of travel does not cease upon our return. It merely enters a new phase. The transformation that began with the first step into the unknown continues as we apply the wisdom gained to our daily lives. I found that the patience honed in long queues, the openness cultivated in foreign markets, and the adaptability sharpened by unexpected detours had all seeped into my interactions, my work, and my relationships. In what ways has the transformation initiated by your travels continued to shape your life? Legacy. The stories we carry forward. The stories of our travels become a part of the legacy we carry forward, not only in the tales we recount to others, but in the subtle ways they influence our perspectives and actions. These stories are the currency of our experiences, invaluable and uniquely ours. As I shared my tales with friends, family, and even strangers, I found that each retelling not only brought me back to those moments, but also allowed me to gift a piece of my journey to others. What stories from your travels have you passed on, and how have they impacted those who hear them? The journey within, the ultimate destination. Ultimately, the most profound journey is the one that takes place within us. Travel is merely the catalyst for a far deeper exploration, the exploration of the self. Each experience is a mirror, reflecting parts of us we may never have seen otherwise. The odyssey of self-discovery that began with a ticket and a destination does not end. It is a lifelong quest, one that challenges us to continually grow, learn, and embrace the boundless potential of our existence. As you look back on the paths you've walked, can you see how far you've come on the journey within? As we draw the curtains on the Odyssey's end, weaving the threads of journeys into the fabric of being, let us acknowledge that the end of one adventure is merely the beginning of another. The fabric of our being is an ever-expanding quilt, stitched with the vibrant threads of our myriad experiences, colored with the hues of distant skies, and patterned with the rhythms of the many roads we've traversed. Carry with you the knowledge that the Odyssey never truly ends. It is an eternal cycle of departure and return, of venturing outward and looking inward, of leaving and coming home to ourselves. And with each return, we are not the same, for we are the sum of all our voyages, the embodiment of every horizon we've ever chased and every shore we've ever departed. In the quiet moments that follow, as you digest the voyage we've shared, consider the paths yet untraveled, the stories yet untold, and the transformations yet to come. For the journey is infinite, and so too is the potential it unlocks within each of us.